There's a few other systems out there that I've looked at before. One is called Time Management from the Inside Out by Julie Morgenstern, and another one is called First Things First by Stephen Covey. And there's another book called Getting Things Done, and I don't know where I put that book. It's somewhere on my bookshelf here. But none of these systems, to be honest with you, none of these time management systems have ever worked for me, and none of them have actually made sense to me completely, which is why I've actually never used a time management system for more than, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks. My time management system for last 10 years, besides the top level planning that this thing teaches, outside of that, my time management system has really just been using my intuition and just waking up in the morning and going with what needs to be done, and then really just, emails coming in, phone calls coming in, you kind of just take it as you go. Every day you just kind of, it's more of a reactive system. And I'm not saying that's a good way of doing it. I'm just saying that's what it's been, because I haven't found a good time management system that worked for me. And when I did the plan, when I was getting clear on what I wanted to accomplish in this blogger weight loss challenge with Tyler Cruz, I wanted to change that. I wanted to implement a time management system into my life, because I don't think what I'm doing right now is very efficient. So I wanted to go back to this and give it another shot. It didn't work for me. And luckily I actually found, I read a review of another book, which is called Master Your Workday Now. It's a review I read on Steve Pavlina's website. And this book is written by Michael Linnenberger. And it just came out about a month ago, I believe. I went to the store and I picked up this book, and I haven't been able to put it down. I finished the book yesterday, and I have to say that this is absolutely, by far, the best time management system that I've ever heard of. Like, this guy just completely nailed it. He's got basically the opposite approach of what Tony Robbins teaches in here, in a sense that he actually starts at the bottom, so it's a bottom-up approach. And his philosophy is that, listen, until you get control over the chaos in your life, the constant urgent tasks that are popping in, the emails, the meetings, the phone calls, all the things that kind of just pop up in your life and keep you busy day to day, until you get all those urgent tasks under control, there really is no point in trying to, come up with this top level plan and create more and more goals in your life when you haven't even got these ones working. So, which totally makes sense. And the other part that that he talks about in here is that he's done the research and he's done testing with people, and he's found that we don't really plan things any more than, let's say, 10 days in advance. It's difficult for us to kind of have a mental concept, for most people, that goes beyond about a week and a half forward, because things change so much. It's almost impossible to plan at least the day-to-day tasks more than 10 days in advance. So he breaks things down in this system into basically 3 components. One is what he calls the critical now, the second component is the opportunity now, and then the third component is what he calls over the horizon. So critical now is basically today, right now, what needs to be done immediately. Opportunity now is that 10-day period of time that we can kind of all look at and keep track of in our minds. And over the horizon is anything beyond the 10-day period of time that you don't necessarily need to be looking at on a day-to-day basis. So essentially what you do is you sit down, you put together a list of all the to-do items, all the tasks, all the things that are on your plate, and then you break it down into those 3 categories, and you figure out, where does it belong? Does this task have to be done today, for example? Let's say it's an appointment with a dentist, or if you have a mortgage payment or something that absolutely, or a meeting or a report that's due today, anything that absolutely has to be done today, you put it into the critical now. Anything else outside of that doesn't necessarily need to be done today, it either goes in the opportunity now over the next 10 days, or it goes over the horizon. And his idea is to keep that opportunity now 10-day period of time as clutter-free as you can, with no more than 20 items on that list. So everything else he wants you to kind of just put it over the horizon, and if the things come up, do them, but don't try to manage too many things at once. So essentially, he dives into it a lot more in this book, obviously, and gives you he kind of organizes it all for you and explains why he built the system. But it's a really cool system in the sense that it totally fits in with what I've experienced when I've been trying to manage my time and manage my workflow. Is that he's totally right. It does break down into things that, okay, what do I need to do over the next few days? Is there any specific tasks that I need to get done today, so that absolutely have to be done today? And everything else I've kind of just shoved on the side and say, yeah, here's my to-do list, but unless it has to be done this week, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. It's pointless to even think about those things. And in a sense, unless it's something, of course, like let's say you're planning a trip or something 3 weeks forward and you need to get things done that that are going to be happening further out into the future. But for most tasks, what I find is that if you try to manage everything, you end up overwhelming yourself. And a lot of things that don't need to be done, let's say this week or over the next 10 days, sometimes tasks in that group end up basically just disappearing. Like they no longer need to be done. So why worry about them if you may never need to do them? So anyway, that's just one part of this book. He teaches that concept. He also has a process in there for how to gain control over your emails. So your inbox, how to organize it and how to stay ahead so you're not feeling completely overwhelmed. And there's a few other parts that he teaches in there, all related to just grabbing a hold of the chaos of day-to-day tasks and organizing them into a system that you can follow on a day-to-day basis. And once you get that foundation, that bottom level control over your day-to-day tasks, only then does he teach you, okay, let's go to the next level and let's start working on individual outcomes and goals that you want to accomplish in your life. Because if you're just focusing on getting tasks done but they don't really lead anywhere, then that's no good either. So he does go up one level into the outcomes and goals section, and then from there he goes to the top level, which is basically the same stuff that Tony Robbins teaches as a starting point. So at the end of the day, he starts at the bottom, works his way up. Tony starts at the top and works his way down. The thing that I didn't like about the system, as I mentioned, is that at the top level it's great, but by the time you get to the bottom, I didn't find that the system actually worked for me. This system, I found that it really, I think, is going to be awesome at the bottom level, because he gives me the freedom to know what I need to get done without having to completely structure my schedule and be completely anal about what I'm doing every minute of every day, and then work your way up to the top level stuff that is also important, which and he's got a system that actually kind of fits together with that. So there's a lot more to it at the second level as far as goals. He's got a really neat little system on how to take goals and actually add a second component to them, because what he teaches is that most goals that people set are only half goals. Like there's half of it, you've created a goal, but you've really only done half the work that you need to do. You're missing a second component. There's a second half to setting a goal that most people just completely ignore. And then he's got a cool little system for actually activating your goals, which is more along the lines of using visualization and things like that to kind of get the momentum going to actually get you excited about achieving goals, and to really tap into your subconscious mind to help you to see opportunities and attract events and things that will help you to achieve your goals. So he's got a cool little goal setting system in there and how to achieve goals. And then he works his way up even from there to, really getting clear on your ultimate mission in life and your purpose and how all that kind of fits in with your goals and with your individual tasks.